Welcome, connoisseurs of fine common cardboard, to tonight's stream. Thanks for joining us. We'll be beginning shortly. And here we go. Good evening and welcome, connoisseurs of fine common cardboard. We are back in this live stream. It's Clay and I. We get to make a deck together. Something we ought to do more often.
Is this our first?
This might be our first, which is silly. I don't know why that is the way that it is.
It's our first on stream.
Yeah, perhaps it's the first on stream. Yeah, for sure. But it had to happen, and it will happen more often. Yeah, Jin Shooting Star, welcome. So Jin actually got the news first that, and I get to tell you this now. You don't know this. I got a job offer today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jin Shooting Star saying, congrats, Papa. Yeah, man. So there's a company.
And just you remember that sex work is real work.
That's right. I will be. I have started a fantastic new OnlyFans. You can find me at Papa_Pauper, and I'll be showing off them creamy hamstrings, my hairy legs, bare chest for tips. You let me know. Daddy's got you covered. Daddy's got you covered. So anyways, all that said, I got a job at a startup company that is called Ridwell that does roadside recycling of things that don't traditionally go in your municipal recycling system. So and it's nothing fancy.
If only you had relevant experience.
I know. If only
doing something like that.
Sustainability, recycling. Yeah. So it's perfect. And it's nothing fancy. It's just something to grease the wheels, pay them bills, get some money in my pocket.
Because employers like it when you have a job.
Yep, that's right. And for those of you that don't know, actually most of you all don't know this, but I think it's a product of just maybe the economy, where I live, a variety of different things, but it has been very difficult for me to get work. So I am really happy that I've got this. It's going to give me some security. It will mean that there's going to be a need to change the stream schedule a little bit, which Clay and you and I will work that out. But it's going to be a really good thing for me. So yeah, there we go. Good news. But you all are here to see a deck built, and I am approaching this deck as an Esior enthusiast, and Clay is, I would say, one of our resident Dargo enjoyers enthusiasts. And so I figured when I was looking at Dargo stuff, Dargo is such an effective way to end games in this particular meta right now, because there's so much life gain that being able to give Dargo some form of protection just seemed like a really interesting concept to explore. And I had this weird thought where I was like, well, why wouldn't you play Sailor's Bane? But I think that in red we get some stuff. We get some control pieces. We get some sweepers that don't kill either of our commanders. We get double strike with Buccaneer's Bravado, and we also have two commanders, which means we can pressure two different people at once. And it's possible that the Dargo still comes out on turn 3. So when I messaged you about this, what were your thoughts initially? I put down Voltron for the name of the deck, but I'm really gonna relinquish control. So, I don't really, it's one thing, right?
So I don't disagree with Voltron. In fact, I was actually prepping the audience for this in my head mentally. I was being a little fortitude building and what have you. This is actually a deck that I'm gonna recommend Buccaneers Bravado in.
What? Clay? Well,
So
you've never
not to
disliked it. Let's put it that
so
way,
not
right?
to yeah, not to give away the gooch, right? But I actually kind of think we should lean into it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can explain what I mean by that a little later. I was thinking if I know you, you've got a bunch of do you have a bunch of considering down there at the
You know,
moment?
I didn't actually, and lately
Sweet.
I've been not doing that. So I just wanted to come into this like completely raw dog, really just
Let's
like.
do this.
Mhm.
Let's shock everybody and start with lands.
Oh, what do you know? So a deck like this, when I did Robot Chicken with Esior and Armix, any Esior deck, you actually get access to certain draw spells like Winged Words, which are pretty good. So you're going to have all the cantrips in blue, potentially, if you want to do that. But it's not going to be a super high land count, right? My intuition's
34.
like 33 was kind of what I thought. 34 could be fine, too.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would be wrong to do either one. But let's just start with 34. And we're just going to do mountains. And then this is just a placeholder. Mountain. Oh, really? Really? 34 mountain.
Illegal.
Give me all of your mountains, damn it. Okay. So we got that. Now I think the part of this, yeah.
You sure you don't want to like? Because that's the thing. I figure we can actually do some deep diving just on the lands, based on concepts.
Yeah. Okay. So like, I don't think we leave home without Opal Palace.
Nope.
Being able to turn Dargo even on the first cast into an 8-power threat means a 2-shot kill. And of course, I think that Opal Palace is probably also going to be alongside Expedition Map. Because again, it's another cheap artifact we can sacrifice to Dargo while also tutoring this. We could do Study Hall. What do you think?
Study Hall might be on the edge of consideration. Well, because we're in blue. You know.
Yep. Let's move this into considering. And then what else?
I do like the artifact lands, and I'll tell you why.
Oh yeah, you can do stuff with those.
Because I'm a huge fan of Trinket Mage.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But we'll get to that later.
So let's do Seed of the Synod. We don't leave home without these. Most decks really do have a good reason to be running these, which is the funny thing. Like, there's not a lot of decks where you don't run these. Even
they're missing a very important piece of text, which is why I like to run them.
They're untapped. Oh.
Yes.
And and I think the reason that we're going to be pulling out, let's see, so boom. So let's get it down to, we'll do 33. Yeah, so anytime you're running Trinket Mage, you're going to want the artifact lands in there too. What this is going to do is give us the ability in a pinch to find these with the Trinket Mage.
Banner ramp.
Yep, which is huge. And the other thing is that there's other relevant hits in the deck, like Bone Splitter is going to be a great card for Dargo. Even Leather Armor, which we can tutor up with it. Leather Armor could be good.
Getting ahead.
Yep, we got all sorts of good stuff though. And then
give it away the gooch.
We got what about we want some cycling lands too, right? We probably want like Lonely Sandbar. Could be all sorts of stuff that we could do with it.
Okay, so let's have a heart to heart. Let's have a heart to heart. How many tapped lands do we want to have in the deck?
I think no more than 5, and 5 would be the top. So we got Bird and Pirate, so Path of Ancestry maybe.
So if we assume that the cycle lands, Path.
Yeah,
if we assume that the cycle lands, Command Tower. If we assume that the cycle lands are either going to be turn 1 plays or late game cycles, I do like both of the single, color cycles.
Yeah.
Cycle lands.
Yeah, it's interesting though because
especially because we will be running interaction.
Yes. So what's interesting is that we are a low land count deck, which means that tap lands do hurt us more
Mhm.
because we're not going to have like a plethora of lands to choose from. In a deck where you get maybe like 2.5, 2.6 lands per opening hand, your odds are pretty good that you're going to have some basics that you can, go turn one tap land and then basic and just go right up the curve, which I'm seeing right
Mhm.
now in Rilsa, which I've actually been cutting a lot of basics from because the deck is very tempo oriented now. It's like an aggressive mid-range deck. It's really an aggressive deck that has like a mid-rangey commander in it. It's kind of funky that way, but so I don't think we want to go too heavy on those. We can afford
Mhm.
a tap land in our opening hand, but we need to play Esior probably on turn 2.
Turn true. Yep.
Yep, like with regularity, and turn 1. I
So,
would say Lotus Petal probably will go in here too, but we'll get to that later.
s- so what is the mountain count at the moment?
So we've just got 26. I don't know what this count will look like until we get to the other cards in our deck, but
I'd like to wager a guess.
this one here, let's
If you
see.
wanna put in some
Hey,
mountains.
so we've got the mountains here. So
Or
I
islands
oh,
rather.
islands. I
Yeah, put
think
in.
it's probably less islands than it is mountains, but
I would actually go the other way, and the reason why I was hypothesizing fewer mountains. In fact, we could probably get away. Let's see. You said it's 26,
yeah, 26 currently.
so half
So
is 13. I'd say 10 mountains,
10
and then
mountains.
18.
This is something we're going to want to revisit because obviously
Yes.
like this is all in a vacuum and we don't know what the rest
Well,
of the cards are going to look
I'll
like.
tell you my justification for it, and that'll help segue into probably.
Lost you
Okay.
there for that moment, Clay. What was that? That last little bit?
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little glitchy today. I
Okay.
don't really know. I don't really know why. It's probably. Let me turn off. You'll have to tell me what's in chat. I'll turn the
Okay.
YouTubes
Yeah,
off.
yeah. No, you're all good. Yeah, we didn't get
So,
nothing yet, so.
so the justification for going this way is I think that this is a prime candidate for some, maybe not all big blue tech, but some big blue tech. So
Yeah.
big draw spells, because you're really trying to refill that hand.
Yep.
Yeah, because you don't have any draw power in the command zone itself. So you want to refill that hand,
Yep.
kind of because we're aggroing,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing the Voltron thing.
Yeah.
So
There's a
that's why I'm speculating that we'll need more islands.
yeah, it could be. There's
So this gives
also
us,
like Dargo is one of these commanders that as long as you can just keep putting it out there, it's really hard to deal with.
mhm,
And part of that reason is because, as you know, like if somebody counters it, you just can recast it in a lot of cases.
for one,
For like
yeah,
one, yeah, which is really brutal. And if you attack somebody with it after, like if you have haste, for example, with the dragon breath,
yep,
then like if somebody has to kill it because they can't take the damage, then they still might be able to cast it again. And
yeah.
so being able to just have
Speaking
cards
of
to do
which,
that is going to be amazing.
speaking of which, did you just
Mhm.
want to throw the dragon? Like, just go ahead and
Yeah,
toss it
so
in there.
let's yeah, this is Dragon Breath is like Buccaneers bravado. We're never leaving home without this. The fact that he has trample means Dragon Breath is probably one of the best cards in the whole deck. Like repeatedly giving haste to Dargo while also giving him dragon like
For
fire
free.
breathing for free is
Yeah.
cracked. It's very strong. So this is going to be like a core card. We'll also drop that Trinket Mage in there, being a body as well as tutoring up a
Tutor.
variety of things is going to be great.
Yeah, we can pivot. We can pivot off Trinket Mage next, since we
So
have
any other
a
lands we
rough
want
land.
here?
I
We've
think
got.
that's good. Yeah,
I
I think
put in
that's good for
Forge of
right now.
Heroes too. I think that this is going to be nice for. It's a colorless land, but we only have one of it, so I think that
Mhm.
should be fine. Opal Palace can filter, but Forge
Yep.
of Heroes putting a counter on something is also going to turn Dargo into a 2-hit, so I think that's going to be worth considering.
Yep.
So yeah, we've got that. We got Jin
What's
Shooting
the
Star
other?
asking Fire Giant's Fury. Oh, why is it
Yeah.
uncommon? Okay, I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's a shame. There
What's
are other
the
Double Strike,
what's
right?
the other? There are. Let's did you want to go right into the double strike stuff?
I think that the let's do so type not creature. I think so, and the reason being is that there's like it's really simple, right? We just have
Yeah.
like Uncaged Fury as the main one that we want to do, because we could do the other ones as well, but like it would be Raking Claws, and then we could do Assault Strobe. But both of those require that he's buffed in some way, right, to be a one shot. Which,
Well,
if we can build around that, that's not a problem. Like the initiative does that, which
does the one shot matter?
I think for one card to take out one player is exceptionally good when you're a Voltron deck. When I'm playing Sailor's Bane, I usually do try to reduce the table count strategically by one player. Usually the person who threatens me. So
the reason why I asked,
Mhm.
because it was my intention going in to actually recommend Bravado, Raking Claws, Assault Strobe, and Battle Rage. And the reason why is because, spoiler, I was going to recommend some of those one drop equipments. So it's not exactly one card, but it's two cards.
Yeah.
And this ties in well with buffing up Esior for that other commander threat.
That's the other thing is like we got to keep in mind that Esior, with a Bone Splitter, maybe cast with Opal Palace for the second time, with Double Strike, that's still a lot of damage. It's evasive. It's going to be, and I really like Raking Claws in particular. Being a cycling card means it's always going to be something we can do. It's a 2-mana cantrip. I think the most premium ones are Uncaged, Raking Claws, and Bravado. I think that if we were to end up wanting more of this, we could go into Assault Strobe.
There you go.
I think that Teamer Battle Rage is not as premium because we already get Trample, but it is instant speed double strike, so it's basically Raking Claws that doesn't have cycling that can give Trample to Esior. So there's some stuff going on there, but maybe we just start with the Raking Claws and we'll drop the Teamer Battle Rage and the Assault Strobe in considering, like that, because I think these are just core to the deck, right? We are a Dargo deck. It's kind of like when I built the Robot Chicken. It's an Armix deck that happens to have Esior because you need a pal. You need a buddy to keep you safe. Yep. So what did you think about some of the cards that tend to be in Dargo lists, like the the Artillerist, the Witty Roastmaster, the Impact Tremors?
As like payoffs?
Well, they're kind of just there, right? They can be payoffs for a combo, and we could combo, and that's something that I don't really know, but I was going to ask you about is like, are we doing Dargo combos here? With like Thermopod. What would we need to do to facilitate a Thermopod combo?
Well, you just need Thermopod and Impact Tremors. That's all you need.
Wow. Okay, so that probably just goes in here, right? Like that's just too easy. Like Witty Roastmaster. Witty Roastmaster goes in. We get Impact Tremors goes in. We got Oval in chat saying Candlekeep Sage and Tavern Brawler are so good in a partner deck. Yeah, they're going to be amazing here. Candlekeep Sage is an interesting one. It like if we play it early, it's going to be absolutely broken. Like because you have to kill Dargo. Like, and so it's going to come in.
Well, Candlekeep Sage serves as a if you don't have an Impact Tremors and you're cycling through Dargo and you do have a Candlekeep Sage, then you just basically draw to your Impact Tremors.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's another way to put it too. So if you go infinite and you don't have Impact Tremors, then you find it.
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool. I really like that. That's great. So yeah.
Because you're drawing. Yeah, you're drawing two
on
cards.
ETB and LTB. Yeah, okay, great. So that's good. We're gonna drop this in creatures and in tutors. We're gonna make these the headshot. Oh, look at that! What do we got? Robocon just subscribed to the channel. We got a new interface here I've been working on, folks. So hey, Robocon, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us today. I really like that, being able to see the subscribers as they
Bing.
come up. Bing, bing. So yeah, boom headshot for this one right here. Welcome to the Common Connoisseur's friend. Glad to have you. Buccaneers Bravado. I like this number, by the way. I think if you go too deep, you might start to see multiples of them
So
in hand.
I like it. This is a good time to pivot. The reason why I like it is because I'm gonna recommend an Archaeomancer or two.
Yeah, no, I think that could be fine. My intuition actually says
two. Like
like a
two.
pneumatic wall and Archaeomancer.
Maybe
like-
Salvager.
I like Archaeomancer because it's a big blocker, and we're gonna need blockers in this deck.
Yeah.
I think that's so.
Oh, you mean the wall? You like the wall?
Yeah, I like the wall. I do.
Okay, that's fair.
And the reason for this, there's a bit of lived experience here because I've played a lot of like really creature light Voltron decks. Like Crackling Drake is one of them, Sailor's Bane, Night Veil Predator, and you have to have bodies in play or you get run over. And so a pneumatic wall does a ton of work to keep you alive. Yeah, just a ton of work. So I think having two of those is good, and being able to pick up one of these spells is amazing. Now, do we want any way to be tutoring for those 2 mana cards, like Muddle the Mixture? It seems like we would just be playing Muddle anyways, right?
Well, because it's a counterspell. That's a good time to. I would suggest playing, a good like 8 to 10 piece of interaction, and that could be a mixture. I don't know if we necessarily need the hexproof stuff, but
I think the hexproof stuff is almost mandatory just because it's so cheap. I think that's part of it. Is like,
that's fair.
In these decks, like, we're going to be slightly low land count. We want to be able to, extend out aggressively and have like a 1 mana answer. So there's a lot of elements of this that will match like partially Sailor's Bane, and then the other part will be like the Dargo specific stuff.
So did you want to split that? Because I mean, there is some validity to playing the counter target spells.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get these ones in here first. We've got, you see a guard approach, shore up, Mizium Skin, and dive down. That package there often just goes together. So I like that. And then intervene would be the other one, because this one hits your opponent's spells. We could even play something like Confound.
Is that the 2 mana one?
Yeah, it same function, but you draw a card.
Okay.
And I think the reason for that is like we're mainly concerned about doing our thing. We're asking the questions, and other people have to answer us. And so something like Confound, even though it isn't a full counter spell, it is countering things like Ghostly Flicker still. It's countering Freed from the Real, and it's also going to counter things that target our commanders. So I think that that's a really good one for the same role. So we're going to drop these under protection. Always use protection, folks. Let's see. Oh my god, I have such a fire techno mix going on right now. Wish you all could hear this.
I don't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, to each their own, right? We got Gatorbait saying if you don't have the open mana, you deck yourself. With Candlekeep.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the
Oh, sure. But it's also not. But it's not a deterministic loop where you die if you, like.
Yeah.
You do it as much as you want.
Means, yeah, it's a means to an end.
Yeah, but and the other thing, this is actually another good reason to I guess like Lotus Petal wouldn't get us there. But
we gotta call a timeout.
Yeah, what's up?
This Thermopod has Thermopod has an ability that's snow.
Oh yeah, so I mean this is an easy thing to fix. So we go 10 snow covered. I usually leave the mana base. It
really matters. Like you don't really need the ability. So you don't have to make it snow if you don't want to make it snow.
Yeah, well, we're gonna make it snow because there's other reasons to be making it snow, like Scred, which we'll get to later on. We will need ways to interact with people. Scred might be kind of funky in the sense that it's like we don't have a lot of lands, but like we're probably gonna get to a point. We're gonna draw enough cards, I think, in these colors that we will hit our land drops. So yes, Scred seems fine. And as you all will notice here, like there's elements of this deck building process that are inherently kind of like bouncing around, because that's partially just because that's how my brain works. But like Yeah, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
also because it's sort of there's these feedback loops of like you get into one thing and you think about another. So this one here is for the combo. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and then Shooting Star says curiosity downshift when. Yeah, no kidding. We already have
Yeah.
we do have some curiosity effects we could play in this deck.
They're
Like
horrible though.
well, but Quicksilver Dagger is kind of interesting. Anything we put on Esior is going to have the war. Is I mean, we got Ward 2, so
Yeah.
they're not awful necessarily. But oh gosh, speaking of hexproof, well no, well Cloud of the Dominus is kind of interesting. Usually you want your commander to be red blue, but
Yes.
we can put it on Esior for Shroud, which is great, or we can put it on Dargo for haste and +1/+1. I think we play that. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like flexible to either give haste and +1/+1 to Dargo or give the Shroud to Esior, which is great because really Esior is a
Well,
pretty important thing.
having an option for haste for Dargo that's outside of Dragon's Claws.
Yep,
Or- yeah.
yep. Haste and protection. We're gonna bring this one over to haste, which is there we go. And then this is gonna go under draw, and this is also part of our combo too. And we'll
Yep.
come back and fix that. So we got some staples there.
Let's,
We could do
let's
like
take a look at.
Mhm.
Let's round out for protection. There's 7. So you've got.
We want some counter spells, right?
You've got Muddle. Is Muddle in it? It's under.
Muddle is in there. Well,
Oh,
so
it's
it's under
under
counter
twos.
spells, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
Oh, you divide by.
I do, yeah, yeah. Just because I want to make sure that I have enough stuff that can interact with other people versus just my own.
So add negate.
Yep. There's oh god, one of my favorite counter spells for this deck is Dispersal Shield.
Yeah. So that and dispersal shield, and you should be good.
Okay, so you're really thinking a low count for this. That is let's
Well,
see.
okay. So you have how
Let's-
many protection spells that also serve as counter spells?
Oh gosh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. So we'll go to here to history, and then we're going to add back to main board. Add back to main board. I meant to change their tags. Okay, so we've got here, and just for the sake of, we'll just treat these as counter spells because they're more than protection. They have a
Yes.
secondary function, and we don't need to double tap them there. So that's 10.
Okay, so that's
9 of
that's
which
5
are
and
instant.
5.
Yeah.
So I think a base number of 10.
It's a good start. We might end
yeah.
up doing more, but let's see what we need to put in for other slots too. Jin Shooting
Mhm.
Star recommends Bitter Reunion for card selection and haste. I think that's a great idea. Bitter Reunion, for those of you who don't know, is an enchantment. It allows you to it's just loots, and then you sack it to gain give haste to all your creatures. And what's nice about Bitter Reunion is that it's on demand, so it just sits
Mhm.
there and it's just ready to go when you need it. And it's
a card type that's not readily.
yeah, people aren't going to be removing this. They're not going to be removing this, so that's good. Let's bring these in as well here for creatures. Okay, so what other things? So maybe we go through the draw. And actually, like one of the things that I really
Like,
don't know about with
big-
Dargo is like,
Big draw.
how do we? What are the staple cards for enabling Dargo? It's like Prize Statue, Nimble Right Schematic, Ichor Wellspring,
Well,
Mycosynth Wellspring.
so this depends. So you have well, let's just crudely divide it into Turbo Dargo versus Value Dargo. So experimental synthesizer would be one that would be in both camps.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, Experimental Synthesizer. Well, I think this one always would go
And
in a
if we're-
Dargo deck, right?
Yeah. Well, not maybe not.
I mean, this card is like
and
one of
then-
the best red draw spells ever printed in this format.
In a artifact matters kind of deck.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But then something like Flare Husk is 2 bodies, or
oh, and it's
two-
+1/+1 as well.
yes.
Yep, I like Flare Husk. Yeah, I don't usually like this card, but I think it's a great home for it here.
Yeah.
We got some questions real quick. We got Caitlin stepping in for Dad here, saying, question for explanation. In theory, Esior is protection. What does extra protection spells, what is it for instead of counters? Yeah, so Esior gives us Ward 3, which is good. That is not necessarily enough to stop somebody from targeting and killing what's important to us. And what's most so these cheap interaction spells are going to allow us to push damage on the turn that somebody tries to kill our creature, which is important. Every combat step matters a lot in Dargo / Sailor's Bane decks. Your Dargo connecting is pretty important because you don't get, it's like if Dargo comes out on turn 3 in a good situation, or maybe 4, let's say maybe 3 or 4, we could do it earlier. Turn 1 Synthesizer, turn 2 Esior, turn 3 maybe a 1 mana or 1 drop. I mean, so it's probably turn 4, right? So if you have Dargo turn 4 and the average game ends on turn 10, you're going to get 6 swings with the Dargo. Okay. So we need to be thinking about, like, how do we protect that investment so that every combat really connects and moves us forward with our game plan. So I hope that answers your question, Caitlin.
I would agree. It's probably
Turn 4.
not completely overkill. I think it's like just up to overkill. And that's the thing. Like, I would also agree that playtesting may warrant, some adjustment.
Yep.
You're finding nobody's interacting with your Dargo because they just don't want to pay the tax,
I mean,
then
yeah,
maybe we can take one out.
it's possible. I think what we're going to find, though, is that, like, people will have to interact with the Dargo, whether or not it's good or efficient. And so that's I think
that's the hope.
Well, I think that's that's probably the reality. I mean, Dargo is very, very scary. So we've got a Robocon here asking shore up and dive down. Yep, we got those. Good recommendations. Jin Shooting Star saying impulsive thief, which maybe you meant pilferer, which I just added there. Impulsive Pilferer is a fantastic card in Dargo decks. Ward can be better than Hexproof sometimes because it's a huge tempo loss to try and remove a creature with a huge ward and getting stopped by 1 mana. Absolutely. That's a really good explanation there. And we see this in Sailor's Bane. Somebody goes and they're like, they think that I'm coming after them and they go for the kill spell and they're like snuff out for paying 4 mana and you just daze it. And it's like that's their whole turn. If they're casting like a cast down or a Victim of Night or something like that, then it's going to be 6 mana, and we are just full of the ability to shut that down. So yeah, it's a massive tempo swing to do that, and this is going to be, I think, in some ways, kind of a tempo deck, right? So I think these are good things.
So big draw, Treasure Cruise.
Yep. We're gonna fill that graveyard mighty fast in this deck.
And then what's the City's Blessing one? I can't.
Secrets of the Golden City. Secrets of the Golden City might not be that good here though, because we're gonna be consuming a lot of our board to cast Dargo. So it is a divination that becomes better than a divination when we have a board presence, but there are going to be times where it'll just be divination, which is fine. Divination is fine. Let's start with one that's more efficient that we know is going to be good, which is Winged Words. Winged Words is 2 mana or 3 mana, draw 2, and it's 1 less if you control a creature with flying. This is going to be a great card for the deck. And there we go. And we're going to get this one into draw as well. Flying minus, so not a creature. So I just want to see. Oh, and actually, let's go draw, because I want to see. I think there's more spells that are flying specific. Like there's like Cartouche of Knowledge would be interesting. This is +1/+1 flying draw card. That would be kind of an interesting thing for Dargo. We have Gust of Wind. Oh, Gust of Wind is nice. 4 mana, costs 2 less to cast if you control a creature with flying. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand, draw a card. It is sorcery speed, so maybe that doesn't work out so good.
I'd like to focus on cards that are spells that draw 3 cards.
Yeah, I hear that. I think this one here we're just gonna toss into the mix. There's also this too, because we can just sacrifice this to draw a card, right?
Oh, the spell bomb?
Yeah. Like 1 mana draw, like when we sack it, we can just pay the blue to draw a card.
This is kind of like the dividing line between in Dargo decks, I like my sack fodder to have automatic triggers.
Yep. So like
because it's mana hungry. If you're paying that extra mana, what have you, then you don't have it for whatever you're drawing the card, right?
Yep, I agree. Yeah, Lofty Denial, that's the one we were looking for. Lofty Denial is a great counterspell. It's attacks of 4 if you have a flying creature. Great recommendation there. So we've got Caitlin again asking, there's a new equipment that gives Ward 2. It is blue. I don't know if the symbol is really good. Would you play that with Esior? Do they both have to happen? Oh, so you're talking about Armguard Familiar, is what I think it's called.
Ward on top of Ward.
Yeah, so that does stack. So this one here is a 2 mana artifact creature, equipment beast with Ward 2, and you can pay 4 to attach it. That's kind of interesting. Potentially, let's throw this in considering. That might actually be a good one to look at. The other counterspell that we forgot about too is Arcane Denial, and I think that one actually probably supplants something else that we have, because Arcane Denial draws us cards, right? So this one here, we'll just leave these for now, and we'll come back to this. I don't think we necessarily need all these. We might want them, but
well, it's 7 and 5. That's 12. That's still not.
It's not atrocious by any means. No, it's still within reason. Creatures, and then I'm gonna also make a segment here for equipment. Well, I say augmentation usually, because I like to put auras and equipment kind of in the same bin. And then Bone Splitter is in here too, right?
Yep.
Because this is.
What do you? Do you think we'll have enough equipment for a Golem Skin Gauntlet?
Ooh, yeah. This one gives buff for each equipment. Potentially. Let's drop this in considering. It's actually really interesting. I didn't know this was so cheap. It's really
something, because like Ceremonial Knife seems like a good play.
Yeah,
Prying
Blade
seems like a good play, and now we're already up to like 5 or so. Equips. So
I really like the idea that Esior could grow into a big problem too, right?
Yes.
I think the Prying Blade, it's going to be funny. These Prying Blade and Gold Vein Pick is the other one. These cards are interesting.
Dargo fodder.
They're great Dargo fodder. Yeah, and they're going to allow us to do more with our mana than we would otherwise be able to do. It's going to allow us to always have Dargo in play. Ceremonial Knife is just is really, really powerful. Not everybody. Let's see.
Well, it's probably more, but one more. Darksteel Axe.
You think we play Darksteel Axe?
Well, it's the same.
It's the same rate as Golem Skin, basically. It's not
the same rate as the other one too.
Bone Splitter. Well, but it's equipped for 2.
Oh, equipped for 2, but it's indestructible too.
Yep, there is that. Okay, let's bring that in. Darksteel. I think this one is on the edge because it's just like it's just strictly worse Bone Splitter. But maybe that's good enough. I mean, it's still cheap. It's very cheap, right?
Okay. Try. Tell me what you think of Dueling Raptor or Rapier.
Okay, so Dueling Rapier is one of the ones that enters and attaches.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So it's
and it's flash. Yeah. Oh yeah, we play this. And there's other reasons why we play it too, right? Like we could
take out the axe then.
Yeah. No, this is great. What a good card. I didn't know that. I was not aware of that one. Robicon recommending Cloak of the Bat and Crystal Slippers for haste. I think Crystal Slippers, um, in particular, because really the heuristic we're looking for is we want to enable a two-shot, and so the power is really Crystal Slipper. There we go. So this one being +1/+0 haste equip, having onboard haste is going to be really good. So I think that's good. The other one too is leather armor. What do you think of this one, Clay?
I'm trying to find it in my.
It's +0/+1 and ward 1 for 1 mana, and then it gives ward, and then it's activate for 0.
I'm not really interested in giving toughness buffs.
Neither am I.
Even though it does have a equip 0 and ward 1, I'd much rather have something that gave +2. You know,
yeah.
The +1/+0 stuff, I don't mind having like prying blade and whatever for, but
yeah, okay, I think that's fair.
We're getting a bonus for the loss of extra power.
Yeah,
and the fact that we're getting I think that's all the the good +2s anyway. I mean, you got bronze sword, which is 3 equip, and then you have...
Well, the bronze swords are all actually pretty good, right? Because there's short sword and there's honed Khopesh, and those are all 1 mana for +1/+1. So one way we could look at it is maybe...
Well, I was looking at the +2/+0 stuff.
Oh, okay. The +1/+1 is still pretty good though, because it's not for I mean, it is for Dargo, but it also is right, it's going to put us up to 8 power, so it makes us into a 2-shot. The Bone Splitter is almost like insurance for blockers, right? Because if we deal 9, so 18, maybe that's one way to look at it. I think I like the Golem Skin Gauntlets a lot more now that we've got all this equipment in here. Yeah. Like, we only need one other equipment in play for this to be better than Bone Splitter.
I have a recommendation for what our last equipment, Mantle of Tides.
Oh yeah, yep. Mantle of Tides is good. This one is
a free equip. Well,
so this one could be used to protect our creatures. It is like, I guess it's a free equip +1 power, right? That's kind of why we're looking at it. It's not nearly as good. Well, so what's your thinking here? Is like, this does make Esior into 5 toughness.
It's just the free. Yeah, it's just the free equip.
Oh, you know what?
I've got all the 1-drop equipments pulled up on my screen, and looking through, like, in my mind's eye, I'm giving preferential treatment to the +2/+0 stuff, but recognizing that like axe costs, the equip cost and stuff like that. So if we're gonna forego equip costs, then I think I'd rather put in like the rapier, which is free. The mimic or mantle of the Mantle of Tides is free to equip. That's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah, for sure. Recommendation in chat for Javelin of Lightning, and this is pretty interesting. 2 mana flash, enters the battlefield, attach it, and as long as it's your turn, your creature gets +2/+0 and has first strike. That's kind of dirty. I kind of like it. What else you got for me?
So in the 2 mana, I haven't even looked in the 2 mana. First strike, vigilance, human, jackhammer. Just kind of looking through to see if we get any goodies, like any big standouts that are Executioner's Hood has Intimidate. So how many red creatures are out there?
Yeah, that could be good. Of
course, you have flying and haste too. Amorphous Axe is 3 to equip. Poop.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, poop. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, so many good recommendations here. We have Robocon saying Whisper Silk Cloak for Unblockable and Shroud. Um, Whisper Silk Cloak is a really good card. I
It's the
don't think it
shroud.
goes here, and the reason for that is that it's expensive. Um,
Yeah.
Now, that being said, you could argue that if we do have enough gasoline to consistently land Dargo over and over again, then eventually Dargo gets the cloak, and then you get to work. But it also has negative interactions with the double strike. It has negative interactions with auras and with equip. So I don't think that Whisper Silk Cloak comes in.
What
Gatorbait
about
says you can equip Mantle in
Vorak?
response to somebody trying to kill something. Yep, that's right. Vorok Morningstar
No, battle horns.
Battle Horns.
Equipped creature has trample and can't be blocked by more than one creature.
Okay.
So they can't double and triple block Dargo.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, we could definitely look into that. We've got Cliff Haven Kite Sail. This one does not give power, so I think this one probably doesn't make the cut, but we'll add it anyways. These ones that equip when they come into play are really nice in the deck. I think what we need to focus on here briefly before we get too much further into this is our draw.
Yeah.
And I think that
Some big draws.
Mm-hmm.
If you're from the South, that means something. We got some big draws going on here, girls.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're gonna do
And boys.
Draw. So CMC equals 3 or less, and then draw, and then.
So do you want something like see, compulsive research? I've got a difficult relationship with compulsive research.
It's not my favorite.
Because it target player draws 3 cards and then that player discards 2 cards, right? And who wants to do that?
No.
I understand it's a combo win con and all that stuff, but I digress.
Not in this deck.
So what do you think about Dream Cache?
Dream Cache.
It's a card I've been looking at for a while now. And it draws 3 cards, and then you put 2 cards back.
You put them on the top or the bottom.
Or the bottom. So you can either stack your next draw, right?
Interesting.
But you are looking at 3.
So this only gets us 1 card, so we net 1 card. For 3 mana, I don't think that's very good.
Okay.
Right? Because if you think about it, that's Brainstorm in a lot of ways. We don't get to put them to the bottom.
It's the bottom. Yeah, it's the bottom clause that has me enticed by it.
Yeah, Jin Shooting Star says, AKA the balanced Brainstorm. Yep, that's one way to look at it. Hey, Islane, welcome, dude. Glad to have you here. Islane says, I'm exclamation mark lurk. I'm playing some CDH ATM, but I wanted to give you guys that extra watch time. Well, thank you, friend. I appreciate that.
Sweet.
Thank you. So we can come back to this. I think we can do better for 3, right? We want to draw more than 1 card off of our thing. So let's do draw 02, like that. Oh, we probably play Aether Spellbomb too, right? It's such a good card.
Spellbomb, I would also argue that we play Astrolabe because that's 1 mana draw card. And
I just added that, yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Is it Charm?
Yay,
actually, Is it Charm looks kind of good here too.
As a modal spell?
Yeah.
I really like it.
We have there's actually another card that's really similar to the one you were talking about called Latnam's Legacy. Choose a card from your hand, shuffle it into your library, and then draw 2 cards at the beginning of your next turn's upkeep. Perilous Research definitely goes in the deck. Unfortunately, we don't have a human in the command zone, which is a bummer. Because of One Mind would have been amazing. Yeah.
What about Multiverse?
Behold the Multiverse?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. Ooh, here's one, Stern Lesson. This is a new one from Urza's, from the Brothers War. Draw 2, discard a card, and then create a tapped Power Stone. So this is Thrill of Possibility for 1 more mana that makes a mana rock.
Power Stone. that you don't have to discard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice actually. Yeah, and Jin Shooting Star points out the Power Stone can use abilities like Equip. And we've also got lots of artifacts, so I think this one is good. There's also Witching Well, which we could pick here too.
That's actually really good Dargo tech.
Yeah, yeah. ETB, scry 2, sack it, draw 2.
Speaking of which, let me bring up a Dargo deck.
Mm-hmm.
just in case I forgot something.
Yeah. Like, do we want like the Terrarion type stuff in here too?
So it depends. Under normal. Okay, so having built an Izzet Dargo deck previously, I was really specific about the cantrippy draw spells that I was using blue for, and then I was augmenting that with spells like Terrarion to be able to get those additional draws. I just don't know if we lean that heavily into, because it's not necessarily turbo, it's more value, but
yeah.
like
Yeah. I think we can maybe straddle that line a little bit. Looking at all the draw spells here that we could possibly want in the deck. There is Betrayal, which is kind of interesting. Have you ever seen that card? 1 blue, you put it on a creature an opponent controls, and every time they tap it, you draw a card. So if they like swing at us,
huh,
it's like potentially kind of interesting.
Huh. Or if it's a
tapper,
a Gretchen, yeah.
I mean, there's some stuff where this card is really good. The only bummer is that you can only put it on your opponent's creatures. So there is that. There's like borrowing 100,000 arrows would be an option.
Well, since you're a creature light, yeah, it would be in the current meta. It's definitely a meta call.
I think borrowing 1,000 arrows, 100,000 arrows is pretty interesting. We've got like Chromatic Star.
Did you put Prize Statue? I know we talked about it.
Oh, you know what? I did not. So yeah, basics here: Prize Statue and Nimble Right.
And the Wellsprings.
I have not done those yet because you said to hold off on those. So Statue. So Prize Statue and then Nimble Right. And then Ichor. And then are you playing Mycosynth?
Yep.
Very on flavor for the spoiler season we're in right now.
Dargo decks, I think it's appropriate to consider both.
Okay, so we've got Aether Spellbomb for removal, and then Witching Well for draw. We've got Ichor Wellspring for draw. Myco Wellsprinth is also draw, just a different kind. Terrarion, Chromatic Star, Astrolabe. I think this is a deck that actually really likes Astrolabe.
Kind of looking through. So what are we sitting at? We're sitting at 80 even?
89. 89.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear you.
Check. Is my audio? No, it looks like it's coming through.
Here, hold on a sec. I can't hear you.
Check. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Boop, 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 boop. Let's see, what else do we want here? What other draw spells could we be playing? So we've got good draw spells. We've got, let's just for giggles, we're gonna add another land just to get us up to 34. Can you hear me, Clay? Nope. It's like some audio issues. Chat, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Might be
Can you
some
hear
sort
me?
of yep, yep. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Check, check, check.
Can you hear me?
Me? I can hear you, Clay.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Okay. So it sounds like we'll just keep going and Clay will figure it out here. Any MDFC worth? Um, So like disturb?
Good old Streamlabs. We'll have to communicate via here. Let me
Can you hear me? No.
at least turn on my camera
Check,
so that
check.
way you can see me.
Check, check.
We'll have to communicate via like hand and arm signals. Yeah, so choose this card over here. That one sounds good. I appreciate it. It's a real bummer that I can't hear you. I've tried turning my
Sign
stuff on
language.
and off. Maybe I can hear you through the
Oh boy.
the
He's gonna do a chat. He's gonna go into YouTube and he's gonna listen to me with delay. Oh no. Okay.
Okay, so it's definitely me.
Yeah, definitely you.
Because I can't hear YouTube at all. Yes, it's definitely me.
Yep. Yep, chat. We've technical malfunction on his side, so we'll get back to it. So, MDFCs. Jin, do you have any ideas, recommendations in that regard? Because I can't really search up MDFCs. I can search up like adventure, maybe, see if there's anything in there that we really want. Okay. So let's look at some ETB creatures. And the reason we're looking for ETB creatures at draw, enter battlefield. What did I spell wrong here? O enter, O battlefield, O draw type creature. Like that. Is because having blockers in play that can just basically like take a bullet for us is pretty important. And the way that we justify those things is that they've already drawn us a card. So something like Filigree Familiar could be an option. It's a little expensive. Something like Scrapwork Mutt is kind of interesting because we could actually play it and then sack it, unearth it, sack it. Yeah, Mole Drifter is an interesting concept. We could definitely do that. Yeah, so currently we don't have a lot of removal and we don't have very much first strike. We have like, I think 1 or 2 ways to get first strike. We have the double strike, we'll do it. So Death Touchers would be annoying. Yep. Not too bad though. Play something like Skyfisher, Sky Swimmer Koi. Death Touch isn't super common in PDH. There's a couple of good sources of it. Mole Drifter is probably fine. It's a little spendy for what we're doing in this deck. We're not going to have like a lot of creatures though, I think admittedly. Can you hear me now, Clay? Nope. Still. Okay. So now we've got 15 draw spells. We've got some creatures, but most of these aren't going to stay in play. Let's look at some other stuff that facilitates Dargo. Mog War Marshal. Another good one. Kuldotha Rebirth. Kuldotha Rebirth is good. And what else? Play something like Cart Clan Shaman. Oh, Makeshift Munitions is definitely in. Cart Clan Shaman is a maybe. Pretty powerful. Sweeper effect, a little expensive on our board. Welding jar is just for artifact. Yeah, we are going to need more removal, don't we? So probably Galvanic Blast. We could play some normal 2-mana ramp, something like Arcane Signet. You hear me now? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We did it.
Hey, he fixed it. Very good. Nicely done. Okay. So I was just going over, we were discussing the fact that there is not that much removal. And we're going to try and remedy that. So I was bringing in Galvanic Blast, Makeshift Munitions. We got the Izzet, Charm, Aether Spellbomb. We've also, I've added Mog War Marshal.
I'm not a huge fan of the munitions from the perspective of we won't have a whole lot of permanents that we want to get rid of.
Yeah, so munitions, that is true. That is true, actually.
And we'll be giving away, like, I don't want to be giving away my equipments, which that are going to have, I don't want to be sacrificing, rather, my equipments that I'm going to be using to win the game just to deal 1 point of damage that I have to pay 1 mana for.
Yeah, I think so. By the way, I'm adding Lotus Petal and nobody can stop me.
So we did have a comment on a YouTube video from like a year ago today telling me that I was wrong about Dargo Math. That's okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Dargo Math's hard.
So we, there are some other things we could put in here.
What is this, 96?
96, yep. You can switch those around if you want. So the Springleaf Drum is one option. Moonsnare Prototype is another. And we could also just play stuff like Arcane Signet.
What's our Trinket Mage package besides the equipments?
Okay, so Trinket Mage, and I'll usually make a list for this here.
Because you've got Spellbomb, right? Aether Spellbomb?
Mm-hmm, yep. So we've got it's a pretty big package. We got Aether Spellbomb, Trinket Mage. We've got Chromatic Star, although I'm not going to put that in the list because we almost never tutor for that. But we might tutor for... Astrolabe
Flare
maybe.
Husk. Flare Husk is a tutorable.
Flare Husk is a tutorable threat.
Maybe not. Yeah. Well, I mean,
I think it's fine to put in there. Bone Splitter, Ceremonial Knife, Golem Skin Gauntlets. So basically, like all of our augmentations. It's a pretty deep list of things we get to put in here. And then we also get Great Furnace, and we get Silver Bluff Bridge, and we get Seat of the Synod. And then we also, I'm pulling back over into there. And those are the main ones. We also get the Witching Well, which I put in there too. So it's pretty deep. I mean, that's 12. Jin says, with the list focusing on tempo, Runaway Together looks good too. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be a good pick. Now we don't have anything that bounces non-land permanents. So like these last slots probably get dedicated to Echoing Truth.
And Boomerang.
Yeah, Boomerang would be my pick. Man, Boomerang is so relevant right now. It's really it's important to be able to bounce lands. Gretchen. Yeah. There's Gretchen-sized reasons to be running haymakers like this. So we can cut the Makeshift Munitions, and we can add the Echoing Truth, Runaway Together.
Sweet.
And then we probably need Fiery Cannonade and Breath Weapon.
And that should be That
That's
should be
100
it.
cards. Wow. Hour? That took us an hour?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Took us 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We had some chitty chat at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, are we? You know, the thing I'm noticing here too is that we don't have any like mana rocks, and usually a deck wants like, you know, an average deck is like 40. I mean, my average deck doesn't look like this at all anymore, but like usually the number back in the day was like 40 mana sources, like 6 rocks, 34
So
lands.
let's be honest
Yeah.
here. Okay. So
Like
turn 2 Esior. So turn 1 equipment,
yep.
turn 2 Esior.
Yeah, I think we
So
can say
those are
that with
things that are,
certainty. 25
yeah.
spells with 1.
So yeah, it's likely that is going in that way. If not turn 1 artifacts something, right? The
Mhm.
only thing that we'd be concerned of is those artifacts with colored mana, but but still, artifact, Esior, and then what's our turn 3 play? Draw spell? Dargo?
Hopefully you play a bunch of artifacts out.
Yeah.
Or it might be, another play pattern might be that you suit up Esior with Prying Blade, Gold Vein Pick, or Ceremonial Knife. You hit
Yeah,
them,
and
and then
build
that
into a
gives you
late
the
game.
yeah, exactly. And then turn 4, you're probably going to have a way to do it. So I think that's probably what it looks like. I'm a little dubious about the amount of fodder. Like it's possible that this right here, like how much fodder do we have in the deck? And it almost like deserves like a category for like dedicated fodder, you know?
I always have a Dargo Matters. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important because in some ways it's kind of like an aristocrat-y.
You need to know.
You need to know. Yeah, you got to know. Yep. And it's more important than having like, like Cartouche of Knowledge, for example. So Chromatic Star, because like my intuition is that we don't have enough. Log War Marshal is fodder. Nimble Right Schematic is fodder. Coldotha Rebirth is basically a ritual. Impulsive Pilfer is fodder. I would say
you added War Marshal. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was a good include. Pretty good thought on that.
It's the same, right? It's the same thing as Schematic. Schematic's just the colorless version.
And we've got Lotus Petal as well.
There's Prize Statue, good.
So that's 12 pieces of fodder. That's a little slim.
Well, can we take out Cartouche? Yeah.
And then that's a good start there. What's some other good fodder? Chat, you want to give us some ideas here?
Dragon fodder, or
yeah, we could just dragon fodder in Krenko's command.
You could do that, or you could do it's not a ritual because it's not mana positive, but Prospector.
Oh, sure. We have Blood Servitor. I mean, ideally, we want this to be cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, we could play like, the full Goblin Instigator, Krenko's command. I kind of like the idea of having some things that make some bodies that we can just like throw under the bus if we need to, buy us time, but they're also like a ritual. There's Merit. That's pretty funny. What do you think about Patron of the Arts?
I gotta look it up.
ETB or die, create a treasure, 3 mana, 3/1. So it's three bodies basically.
Oh, for 3 mana though.
Yeah. So it's like Hordling Outburst, right? That rate is fine, but
it's better. Okay, I would rather have this than Hordling. Or yeah,
because it's like treasure sacrifices itself.
Well, each treasure is 3 Dargo mana.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Where each goblin is only 2. So you're oh yeah,
Epicure is also another one. Although, suffer not this horrible art to live. It is so terrible. I hate it. We've also got
Are we playing Outburst? No.
Violent Outburst?
No, Hordling Outburst.
No, we're not. Not currently.
Okay.
I think that the Goblin Instigator. So Goblin Instigator, Dragon Fodder, and then the last one being Krenko's Command. I think these are all good choices for the deck. The other thing that these are going to do for us too, which is really important, is that it's going to protect us against edicts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're modal. You see, chat. They are modal. It's always good to think about the secondary effects you get from something that you play. What was there a card here? Oh yeah, Patron of the Arts for fodder. Patron of the Arts is also a creature.
Mm-hmm.
Goblin Instigator is fodder, creature, and then Voldar and Epicure. Voldar and Epicure is a great rate for this deck.
Yeah.
1 mana, 2 bodies. Oh, that's such a cool art. Holy shit, I like that. It's very cool. Yeah, like a lot of times when
17 fodder.
That's a lot better. That's much better. Yeah. How premium is Archaeomancer in this? Like, I think Pneumatic Wall being like a big ass body is like pretty premium, but like
so the reason why I went with 2 is because it's 2 out of 98 cards, so like it's really meant to buy back that big draw spell or buy back that double strike.
Yep.
So I mean it's in my mind's eye, this version that we're going for.
I mean, it finds a lot of other stuff too, right?
So
I'm also kind of into the idea of I might be interested in having some cantrips in here. I've been kind of low on cantrips lately, as a lot of people know. Oh wait, okay, I got a card. This is a banger. Goggles of Night. You know this card? It's 2 mana. Whenever a creature deals equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, scry 1, then draw a card. Equip for 2. Yeah, this is great. So yeah, I've been kind of low on cantrips lately in general because there's other players in the game, and your 1-for-1s just end up being. You got to have some really, really good stuff in your deck to be using those cantrips when you could instead just like draw 3 with secrets, and pay a little bit more mana. Especially because the games go longer.
It depends on what type of deck you're playing. If you're playing a combo oriented archetype, then the cantrips, the instant speed stuff gains more mileage because it allows you to pivot.
Yep. It allows you to potentially like win the game faster because you find your win conditions. But I think it's actually worse at the pivot because you can't do anything else. If you don't combo, you're just like really, really screwed. And those cards have to, and so. But in this deck, though, the ability to dig for key, pieces like Double Strike, for example, like a counter spell, like one of these draw spells, like an equipment, I think is actually pretty good. So there's a part of me that wants to see Ponder and Preordain in here.
So with 8 counter spells, okay, so we're sitting at 104. So at 8,
Muddle is the worst one here. Muddle and Confound.
It also
or actually, Is It Charm is kind of a dog shit. Actually, I mean it's wait. So with Ward, it's pay 5. That's pretty good. Okay. And actually, wait a second. Why aren't we playing Spell Pierce? What 1 mana counter target spell unless they pay 5? It's like Sailor's Bane, right?
Yep. But how much bona fide protection do we have now? It's down at the bottom.
Oh, just 5.
Just 5.
We could cut Clout.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Because we have the counter target stuff. There's 8, there's 8 counter spells now.
It's undoubtedly good. but
Well,
we're
there's gonna be a lot of good cards we're gonna have to cut.
absolutely, yeah, undoubtedly. Um, um, my intuition says cutting an Archaeomancer, potentially the Mantle of Tides.
The mantle, cut the mantle.
Yeah, I don't think this
I'm
is.
I'm I really think cutting the Archaeomancers takes away from the original premise of where we're talking about the double strikes
Mm-hmm.
and
Being able to get him
being able.
back.
Yeah, because my problem with Buccaneers Bravado from the go is you cast it and it's like, hey, kill me.
Yep.
I do threatening things, even though common sense tells the table that, well, I just cast this spell and it's gone and I can't get it back. Well, in this deck, you can get it back.
I think part of the thing with Buccaneers, that's a good point. I think part of the reason with Buccaneers Bravado that it doesn't work for people always is that you have to be very clear in communicating who you're killing.
Yes.
Because if you don't, everybody looks at that and they're like, dude, where the fuck is he going with that? Like, it's scary, and it's like Sailor's Bane. You got to be very clear about who you're coming after so that other people don't
Mhm.
gang up on you.
Yeah, so
So
Archaeomancer is basically turn 6 turn 5 Buccaneers Bravado, right? Turn 6 Archaeomancer Buccaneers Bravado. So it's back to back bravados is what it is.
yep, okay. Um,
In relevant turns. I mean, you could even make the argument, since that's kind of the flavor of the deck, going up 1, but still, like 2 is a good number because that's how many double strikes? 3 double strikes plus 2 Archaeomancers, so that's 5 double strikes.
yeah, in a sense, like we have access to them throughout the game.
Yeah.
So going back to the counter spells here, I'm gonna cut Confound for Spell Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, man, Muddle the Mixture honestly looks like one of the worst cards here.
I mean,
It
yeah.
tutors Impact Tremors, it tutors Dragon Breath, it tutors Buccaneers Bravado, which are all really good cards. So
Mm-hmm.
it also tutors Goggles of Night if
Mm-hmm.
you want to start like going for a later game. It tutors things. Oh, we don't even have Tavern Brawler in here. Forgot
Right.
about that. So up another card, which is nice because this is actually a draw spell too. So
Yes.
this one here, yeah, okay. Boy, is it maybe like Bitter Reunion, Crystal Slipper, Clout? Maybe we just do Dragon Breath.
I mean, Dragon's Breath is the only haste enabler that I play in my Dargo decks.
And it's arguably the best one. Crystal Slipper is starting to look really questionable. It's 3 mana. I love Bitter Reunion, but let's cut Clout. Let's cut Bitter Reunion. The haste is so good, but this is like none of them come even close to how good this is.
Mm-hmm.
This is like just S tier insanity in this deck,
Calling all heirlooms.
Heirlooms?
Yeah, honored heirlooms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Heirloom this. Do it. We could cut Goldvein Pick.
No,
I think these are important.
Remember the
engines.
SEOR plan of yeah.
What about are there creatures that generate treasure for us over and over again?
You mean like on
Hoarding
damage?
Ogre. Yeah, Hoarding Ogre does that. Hoarding Ogre is the only one.
And it costs 4, right?
It's 4 for a 3/3. Always makes 1. It can make 2. It's sometimes gonna make 3, but like it's your.
So turn 5 we make a treasure. Is that too late? That's too late.
It's pretty late. I don't think it's good enough.
Turn 5 we need to be doing the business.
I think so.
We need to be putting a player out.
Gleaming Barrier is kind of interesting though.
When it dies, though, yeah.
It's when it dies, which is a bummer, but I like that it's a 0/4 in a deck that's not going to have blockers. We don't have any way to gain life. You know, we're going to have to be really careful and judicious about how we execute our game plan because...
See, that's the thing. At 101 cards, okay, so this is a little blasphemous, but I suggest we cut Breath Weapon.
Wow. That seems crazy to me. Like these, we have so little interaction for permanence on board.
No. We have so little interaction for your normal play style. This is aggro, baby.
Well, no, yeah, but like, okay, I'm gonna go on a little rant here. There's too much suicide aggro in the meta right now, and the decks don't win. A little bit of hard truth for you, chat. If you can barely not kill somebody, you end up king making the other two people.
So give me your prime example of this.
Oh, I'm not. No, come on. That's not. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. The important thing here is that if you are playing suicide aggro and you are like sacking mad permanents in play, like lands and shit on like turn 2 to do your thing, you are not setting yourself up for winning against 3 players. Okay. There are a lot of really good aggro decks out there. Gut, Amber, any of those builds are really good.
Gut is
the Dargo
Gut is a suicide. Yeah, Gut is a suicide.
It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. And the way that people are building it right now, I think, in my opinion, this is subjective, is building it in a way where they king make 2 people. Because it's very difficult to close out the game if anybody kills your Gut, like even just twice. And Gut is everything. Gut is your whole deck. It's like all of your threats.
Okay.
If it dies twice, you just like sit there and watch the game happen, and then maybe you try to clean up in the end. And so I think like
okay.
So we need to have answers. And I'm just gonna I'm going to wrap this whole idea up with this. This deck is very similar to Sailor's Bane. The composition is very similar. You have the same size threat, you have a built-in protection, and you have some targeted removal and some counter spells to deal with some certain things. What these decks cannot handle is being clapped back. And it's fundamentally a problem that like Nightveil Predator, Crackling Drake, Sailor's Bane, and this deck have, is that if people start to hit us, we start to have to block with Dargo. And that's when we start to lose. So we do need Breath Weapon and we do need Fiery Cannonade because we need ways to catch up. We need ways to reset things. And it doesn't kill our shit. So I think that's like part of why the backup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Gut, Inspiring Leader, current build.
Yep.
Kind of greedy. Dargo Kedis, current build. Kind of greedy. Now this one's a little older, but not by much. Last summer, Arrrggghhh Dargo.
Yep.
Kind of greedy.
Pretty greedy.
And then Dargo Kesket. Last summer.
I think that these decks are getting away with more than they should. And,
right,
and the reason that they're winning is because the reason that they do win is because there were a lot of people playing aggro at the time. So nobody is stopping them. When everybody is just going go, like go-karts, they're not actually seeing what happens when somebody just says, fuck your commander, it's dead. And it's like, now figure out what to do. It's like, no, they can't. When people play a reasonable amount of interaction, those decks fold like a wet noodle. I see it happen. And I think that the way that those decks claim victory in the end is oftentimes by fighting for scraps. And that sort of hyena, like at the end, you barely have, you've been like, you don't have any cards in hand. You're just scrapping barely like alive. The only reason you're in the game is because nobody chose to finish you off. Because if they did, you'd be just gone. You're out, right? And so I don't like that strategy. I don't think that is. I don't like it. I just don't like it. So I think that what we need to see from those Gut decks, okay, from the Gut, from the Amber, particularly Gut, is just play with more mana rocks. Play with a reasonable number of lands. Play a lot of draw spells. As long as you can consistently play Gut, You're going to continue to put pressure onto the field with 4/1s. Every rock that you have can be turned into a 4/1. That's great. But the longevity isn't there when we're playing crazy rituals like, Rite of Flame, and even Lotus Petal, right? You're left with nothing in hand.
You got to take a breath. You got to pause it.
Fuck you, dude.
I'm
talking about
look here, you beautiful bastard. Look here. I love you. It sounds great. If it happens on the battlefield, it happens.
I'm talking about games played where I see this happen, where they king make 2 players. Aggro decks king making the rest of the table and then losing because they can't play a late game. They're not building like an aggro mid-range, and you need to. Or you end up like, being the person who just hits people the whole time and then has nothing, have no instant speed interaction. You don't have any card draw. You're just sort of like dead in the water. And I don't think that's a good strategy. So there's ways to build those decks that is good, that doesn't involve like turboing out your gut on turn 2. So I think that's the way I look at this. So all that's to say that we need to have reactive answers. And in this particular deck where we can't take hits in return, this is where we go. So we got
3 cards.
Yeah.
We got 3 cards over. We're going to cut 3 lands?
Yeah, that's right. Let's go, baby. So I did just add Ponder, Preordain. What did you think about these? Low land count, like, it just feels like we need this when we're low land count.
Well,
we're not that low. We're 34 actually, right?
Well, cut to 33, right?
So we could cut to 33, play these 2.
Yeah, go down to your graph that shows how many drops. I bet you it's a slide deck.
Oh yeah.
God,
Look at that.
It's a slide deck. Yeah, we can do 33.
Yeah, I agree. Like this curve is very low. 33 is reasonable. You could potentially even go down lower, but I think that this is like a good
33 is a good place to start.
Yeah, good place to start. Yeah. So Ponder, Preordain, let's bring these in. We could there is another card here. Stern Lesson is a card that we could cut. This is pretty secondary. Like it's nice, it makes some food. But like borrowing 1,000 arrows, big draw.
See this? Yeah, big draw.
So wait, so why would we? Oh, okay, so borrowing 100,000 arrows works on tapped creatures.
Correct.
Whereas Keep Watch is only attacking.
It is attacking.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's good. There's another one of that. What's it called again? You know this one, the duplicate, right? So draw. So O draw, O tap.
It's a portal card. Creature. I can't remember.
Oh, it's not type creature. It's O creature.
Yeah.
O creature. Okay. Theft of Dreams.
On the right.
Yeah, Theft of Dreams. Oh, Shared Discovery.
Oh, and it's Urza. Okay, cool.
Urza?
Not Urza. Exodus. That's what. Yeah.
Look at that art, dude. That Richard Kane Ferguson art. Juicy, delicious. I love it.
God, I used to have all these set symbols down. Like.
Oh, this one always gets me. I
could tell you all these set symbols in my sleep.
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago.
Okay, what's our last cut here? Is it another land? Patron of the Arts, maybe, because it's 3 mana?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that. Coming in at right under an hour and 30 minutes. We had a little 10-minute intro there, so an hour and 20. Not bad. I think this is
a 10-minute diatribe.
Yeah, that's right. So hour and 10. We're getting there, and it's getting faster and faster. So let's do a couple of
well, in fairness, and I think most Dargo players already know this. Dargo X anything kind of builds itself in a way. I mean, there's some nice there's nice little niche kind of calls. Okay, cool. So we're on the turn 1 artifact.
Yep. Turn 2 Esior. And actually, let's bring this over here so you all can see it. I forget that the cutoff is a little bit leftward. So there's Esior, and then we're gonna draw for. Okay, so here we're seeing lack of food. Like, what are we doing right now?
So that's a mnemonic wall, and what's the
Shore up. So we have
shore up?
2 pieces of protection. We have pneumatic wall, we have borrowing 100,000 arrows, and we have uncaged fury. So I think we probably just take a draw. This is not working out. This particular.
Dargo math sucks.
It's expensive.
Dargo's really difficult to play. What's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, that's much better.
Your standard fodder and stuff like that. Dargo's really difficult to play. Staple cards in.
Dude,
you have to bend it a little bit. Okay,
this is gas. So we go turn
Wishing
one.
Well?
Yeah, Witching Well is probably the first one. Yep. Oh, sorry. We've got to draw a card first. So we draw. Oh, wow. Witching Well is going to be the pick here. Scry 2. Going to get Ponder and Dragon Fodder.
Ooh.
Interesting. I kind of want both of those. Dragon Fodder for turn 2. Or, well, we can't play both of these now. And we have Preordain already.
Well, that's
And we only have one blue, so maybe Ponder isn't what we need actually.
Yeah,
I think we bottom it. Bottom top.
Yep.
Draw mountain. I think we go. So we go.
Because we don't need Esior now. We need.
Well, but if we play Esior, if we do Dragon Fodder now, then we can't Esior plus Preordain. So we do Esior, and then we untap and we go Mountain, or actually here we go Preordain. Scry 2. There's we do want to use this, so we want this. We don't want this. Yeah. Okay, so
no tap lands.
We'll take that. Yeah, bye tap land. Get the out of here. Now we could also go Impulsive Pilfer, Spell Pierce, but I don't think anybody can target our commander right now, so we're fine. So I think we go Dragon Fodder.
Yep.
Boom, boom. Like that. Okay.
Yep.
And then we go untap. Okay, great. So we've got protection. We can run out of Dargo anytime we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana that we. So we just need to do it for 7. So we could go. And actually, what we do here, this is the smart thing. You go synth before land.
Mm-hmm.
Flip. That's why. Okay, there we go. Boom, land. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that.
Yep.
That's pretty sweet. And then we get to see another card. Terrarion, we cast that because we've got protection in hand and we've got the ward. So that's what we want to see. Robocon, good luck with the build. I have to go to bed now. Hey, dude, thanks for the subscription. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you in more of the chats. Appreciate it, buddy. Hope you have a good night. So yeah, there's a Terrarion, comes into play tap. And then let's just, I don't think anything kills us this turn because they would have to have like turn 4, 6 mana. They don't know if we're swinging at them. We're fine. So untap. Okay, this is great because we've got our 3rd mountain, which will allow us to get Dwarven Mine for a dwarf. So in this case here, we could go mountain and I kind of want to draw 2.
We need card draw. Yeah.
I kind of want to just draw 2 and then hold blue up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sack this. Oh, yeah, draw 2. Oh, there's our card draw. And actually, you know what we could do is we could have also used this to filter mana and sack that as well, if we wanted to get more.
Go ahead and do that.
The only thing though is
how many? Oh, you've got a card hanging off to the left that I can't see. So you already have
Impulsive Pilfer.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine on cards, yeah. And we'll keep this for another Dargo cast. So we smack somebody with Dargo. I think this is the turn where we could potentially start seeing some hate on the turn cycle. So we just go probably you see a guard approach because it's the most flexible. You could also just say because we have Dispersal Shield in hand, Spell Pierce and Dispersal Shield means we get to pick which one we want to use. So we'll do you see a guard approach. And then we draw. Oh, well, hello there, friend. We don't even need the winged words yet. So we go Goblin Mine, make a dwarf, drop it in. Probably cast a Pilferer.
Yeah, because we have a guaranteed Dargo failsafe.
Yeah. It's a shame that we don't have anything to buff yet, but we could dig for one. So let's do that. Let's.
You know, out of all that equipment.
Oh, there's an Uncaged Fury. Hell yeah, brother. Let's go. And the mana to cast it. So yeah, you're dead. Die. Boom, headshot. Love it. Cool.
So turn 6.
Yeah, kill a player. Good. Okay, and then that costs us all of our mana. So let's assume now that somebody says, all right, your Dargo's had enough. Enough fun for you. So they kill Dargo. And look at that. We just go...
Artifact?
Yeah, so artifact, draw. Whew. Gross. I think we just...
I'd play the land and then sack the land. Tap it for a red.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, because we don't need this. This is too many. So sack land, sack this, sack this. That's 3. And then we need 2 more. So we Impilfer. And then make a treasure. Sick. Sick. Okay, so we got some draw triggers here. 2 draw triggers. 1, 2.
There's the blade.
Wow. This is pretty slick. And
yeah, I mean, I figured we'd have a 90 to 95% deck, you know, by the time we finished. A little playing, a little refinement.
Yeah.
You know?
What about, so we've got 4 mana up. Maybe we hold for Is It Charm and Dispersal Shield. So we cast the Dargo. Do we need a red for the Dargo too?
Yes.
We do, yeah. Okay, so we actually only have that much. So instead, let's do 1, 2, Nimble Right schematic. No, because this isn't treasure. That's the bodies. Okay, so we'll just leave like that. Dargo.
3 mana up.
So we probably pay 1 for Ceremonial Knife, and then we've got 2 mana up for one of these counter spells. Somebody may try and counter. Well, no, they wouldn't counter it because then we just sack the treasure and recast it. So 100% they do not. Yeah, Fargo Retro, what's up, dude? I don't think I've seen you in chat before. Welcome to the stream. We're just doing a little playtesting here with the new build.
I reached out to Fargo Retro way back in the day when I first made the YouTube channel. He's here locally. He does
fantastic.
Vintage games and stuff like that.
Oh, vintage. Fun. I like to watch vintage on Bosch and Roll. That's a fun format to watch.
At least I think though I could be out of place. It has been a couple of years.
So maybe we go, okay, so what do we want to do here? We probably want to equip Esior, right? And that's going to give us a permanent to work with. So we put it on Esior. Or actually, do we put it on Dargo? Because that's 8.
Esior. Diversify your threats.
Right, but it's making Dargo into a 2-shot, though.
Do you have... Well, I think it'd be more relevant if you had a double strike in your hand. I mean, I suppose you're going to get the blood token either way.
Yeah, you get the blood token either way. We have 2 counter spells. I think that's putting it up to 8 power.
So, yeah.
I think that
given the board state, it's a, you know, which one you pick.
Yeah, okay. So blood token. I bet somebody tries to interact with us here. So
I almost want to put one more double strike spell in this. I almost want to lean in.
Yeah, I do too. Assault Strobe?
Yeah. 1 mana.
Could you imagine a turn where you go Dragon Breath out of the yard?
Yeah.
You Assault Strobe, so just 1 mana, and one into
And then
fire,
fire
one
breathing.
fire breathing for 2 mana. Oh, it's so good. I like it. I think Assault
Yeah.
Strobe is important. Um,
Yeah.
I think as long as we have good fodder and like because okay, so the protection thing is interesting because like Ward 3 is a lot in the turns where we're
Yeah.
developing, so we're gonna be able to
Yes.
get online. Counter spells are not good against Dargo, and they're not all that common right now. So I don't think but basically what that leads me to think is that we're gonna be able to establish ourselves as long as
Yeah.
we can play the Dargo and the Esior.
So
Right?
so our counter spells are more for countering
Combo.
spells, well, countering combo and countering spells that counter our win con.
Yep. Yep. Mainly for Dargo.
Yeah. Double
They're
strike and that
flexible.
sort of thing. Yeah.
Um,
So to that end, you know, the protection spells might not be as necessary because, like you said, it's early and we're just developing and that kind of stuff. So maybe swapping out one for an assault strobe.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea. Um, I like this hand. This is like, oh, it's only 1 cantrip. It's a little weird, actually. 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
We do get the Esior, but there's no food. We could probably find food with the preordain. Let's just see how it goes. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
what do you know? What do you know? So do we go Chromatic Star first? I think we do, right?
No, I dig.
You dig? Because
I
this
dig.
sets us up for the Dargo for turn 4 better, doesn't it?
If you had other things like a turn 3, I can't see that card on the left.
It's
Is
just
that
a
land?
mountain. Yeah, the mountain. Yeah, sorry about the cutoff there. That's just what it needs to be for Moxfield. So okay, so yeah, we can dig on turn 3 with Esior, right?
Because you're either going to preordain or in turn 3, or you're going to chromatic star.
Chromatic Star. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's preordained. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, both. Cool. Good talk.
Yeah.
Sweet. Esior. And then turn 3, we're gonna do star.
Fodder.
Yep.
Yep.
Fodder. And the double strike. Let's double strike ceremonial knife. Is this?
Yeah.
It's happening.
Oh, there's Dargo right there.
1. Is that Dargo math? Wait.
So how many?
Oh
okay,
no,
so
no,
you paid 3.
We're 1 short. Well, I'm paying 3 because we have the star.
That's not the Epicure. I thought that was the Epicure.
Oh yeah. Oh, if it was Epicure, it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got that, and then we just pass. Oh, hello. What's up, gorgeous?
So there's we don't have haste, do we?
Well, okay. So what about this? Ceremonial knife. Pay 2, crack star. I'm just gonna do this. We equip. We swing. We make a blood token.
Yep.
We play a pedal.
Yep.
We crack a pedal. Oh, see, we're 1 short. No, because we can sack these, right?
Yes.
Sack this and this,
So
probably.
pedal makes 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2.
7. Oh yeah, you only need 7 total, so you can save. Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or actually, no, it's just this and 1 token, right? And then the pedal.
So the pedal is 3 total.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. All right. Boom.
Yep.
Awesome. So if that's the case, I thought we needed the blood token. So what I would do is probably hold up. You see a guard approach. Well, no, actually, wait a second. No, I wouldn't, because it's like turn 4.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we're fine. This is great. Untap, and now somebody's gonna die.
Which is kind of what we want. Turn 5, somebody's dead.
Yeah. It's important in these kind of decks. This is gross. This is really gross. Because this is like what I've wanted with Dargos. I want to see a Dargo that can just like that doesn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because one of the things that Dargo has that Sailor's Bane don't Trample.
Yes.
It's a big game. So we go swing, dueling rapier, attach, raking claws, double strike. Oh, you want to survive? No, you don't. You're dead. Bye-bye. Lights out. Good night, sir. Yeah. Okay.
Don't forget we get the token off of
oh yeah,
Esior to swing with Esior too.
Yep, that's right. Okay. And we've got a big graveyard. We're going to treasure cruise next turn. We might hold this for the blood tokens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could leave the raking claws in the graveyard. Maybe that's what's most important.
Mm-hmm. It is.
What if we use the blood token? No. We could use the blood tokens to put more stuff in the graveyard, right?
Yes.
So we crack a blood token. You have to discard first. It's rummaging.
Yep.
Yeah, that's okay. We've already got the rapier, so we do that again.
Wow, lands. Gross.
Yeah, pretty sad.
Maybe we need to go down to like 29 lands.
3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, here we swing. Let's just pretend that Dargo dies.
Mm-hmm.
We swing. We get a blood token. We use the last blood token here. Discard. Draw. 1 mana. Oh wait, did I discard? Discarded Runaway together. Let's discard Forge of Heroes, and then 1 mana Treasure Cruise.
Did you play a land already this turn?
I have not. No. So I could leave.
Pray
something.
for a mountain. If you get a mountain, you can play the mountain and replay Dargo.
I wasn't thinking about that. So here, I would have done. You're right. I would have done this because now.
It's guaranteed.
Oh yeah. That's the way to. Dude, the blood tokens are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was so sick. Blood token, treasure cruise, boom.
Yeah, so the rapier doesn't automatically attach anymore.
And now it's expensive to attach. But oh, we got to draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's the end of the turn. Oh, Goggles of Night. You don't say. I think in this deck, oftentimes we're gonna want to hold stuff for the blood tokens. But we are 100% playing this, and I think we play this
on Esior.
It's
time. I'd say turn 7 as a backup plan. You'd want to start suiting up Esior. You want to shift. Yeah, the later game you get, the more you want to shift towards a suited Esior.
I think
because you're going to be able to keep swinging Dargo out repeatedly, and he's not going to hold equipments very well. He's going to start getting taken out. There's no the problem is the efficiency of like paying for those equipments every time for Dargo.
I fully agree with that.
So after a certain amount of time, you just want to start suiting up
Esior. We could also look at it this way too. We do actually have Dispersal Shield in hand too. Which might change the math on that. Maybe we switch Ceremonial Knife over to Dargo so that he's a 2-shot, right? Mm-hmm. Or, because Dueling Rapier is kind of spendy right now, so maybe we just
stack it.
So, you mean we could sack it to Dargo at some point?
Yeah.
So
that's the benefit of Rapier is because it's cheap and does the thing it does when it does it, but when you can't use it anymore, you just Dargo it and it's gone.
Yep, that's a really good point. Okay, so I really like here moving the Ceremonial Knife over, and the reason for that is that we want to get this to 8 power because somebody's dead. Now we got to kill somebody else, right? And we need to do it in 2 shots, and we're probably not doing it with the rapier. And this allows us to hold up the Dispersal Shield. So we're going to hit and we're going to scry 1. I don't think we want that. And then we draw and then we make a blood token. Okay, great. Okay, and then we could, and then we just go to the end of the turn. draw. We probably cycle away. Well, no, I think we go to combat first. We got all this protection. We go ahead and swing. Somebody's going to try and interact with us. They're not going to want this to happen. So we go mountain for dispersal shield in here. And then they try to fight back. And we say nope. And then we get another blood token. And we're going to draw one or scry one. Woohoo! That's probably good. Keep the borrowing to 100,000 arrows. I'm into this. This is sweet. I think we've demonstrated that it works.
Yeah.
So
it's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Somebody would definitely need to start, tuning it up a little bit. Kind of seeing what works, because maybe you're right. Like, how many permanents did you have on the battlefield? Was it 10?
Oh,
then maybe ascend.
If you get the treasures and the blood tokens going, I think you're gonna get ascend. You are probably gonna get it, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's those considerations. Maybe the Ichor Wellspring is the draw, right?
Yes.
So maybe the Ichor Wellspring is preferable over the Mycosynth Wellspring, because you might not need lands.
Yeah.
Per se.
Well, the lands also, though, they do work with the blood tokens.
So
Something to think about. Yeah. I realized we didn't put Reckless Impulse in here.
Yeah.
I think this
But that's fine. And there's a lot of wiggle room here. And I say it's fine because Big Daddy Clay's getting close to, he's past bedtime by 24 minutes.
Let's go borrowing 100,000 arrows out and then Reckless Impulse in, just a little bit more efficient. And then we want to put Assault Strobe in, right?
That's 100,000 arrows is usually draw 5.
Is it?
Yes.
In your experience, that's what it is?
Yeah.
I haven't played the cards, so I don't have any. Okay. Then what do we cut then? Probably a counter spell of some sort. Maybe. Negate.
What do we have left in protection?
Yeah, we could cut one of these. So you see a guard approach is nice because you can tap down a blocker. Shore Up gives power, which is big. Mizium Skin is probably the worst one.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so that's one cut, and then all right, let's cut one of these. Let's do it. Which one do we cut? Is it so Fiery Cannonade doesn't hit Malcolm. So like hitting pirates is more important than hitting dragons.
Yep, I would agree.
So
and plus Dargo's always going to escape, and Esior
and Esior
3.
Yeah, I think this is fine. It kind of reminds me of like Rilsa, where I have like 8 Crypt Rats. So this is great. So what I'm going to do here, chat, is you should have the link in the description. But there it is again for the deck. And I think we're gonna wrap it up here so Clay can get himself some shut eye.
4:45 comes early.
It does. Yes, it does. Indeed. That is early, my dude. It is so dark at that time of night.
Morning. It's okay.
Night.
It's the morning.
It's nighttime. It's nighttime. It's dark.
Right on.
Yeah, good stuff. We'll chat. This is great. Appreciate everyone's recommendations. Jen, it's great having you here. Gator, Caitlin, Robocon. We had earlier on, we had Anthony Canese.
Thanks for enduring my
audio
issues.
Oh, we proceeded as planned. Fargo Retro, thank you. So for all of you who are still here, thank you so much for joining us on this live stream. We really appreciate you all hanging out with us. If you're interested in seeing more of this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to support the content by leaving a like. Hit the bell icon if you want to be notified at odd times when we go live, which is increasingly common and will be increasingly common in the future. And make sure to go to our upcoming live streams and hit notify me if you want notifications on upcoming Pauper, the Pauper Commander Primer series, things of that nature. If you want to support the channel, we have a join function right there next to subscribe that allows you to join as a member. We have a huge number of offerings that we've unveiled to our community, ways that we can pay you back for paying us to continue making this content. So if you feel it, if you are capable, if it's in your budget, and if you just want to support this community, that's a great way to do it. So yeah, Connoisseurs of Fine Common Cardboard, thank you very much, Clay. You have a good night, my friend.
All right. Thank you.